I want you to go outside. I don't want you to go around there. So my father was a professional gambler. You know, he stayed out. And he had a taxi cab as his so-called front, but back then you had to have a hustle. And his was playing pool, playing cards. That's what he did for a living. And I knew when he came home, he wanted to rest. I knew this. So when she told me, don't go out, I patiently waited for him to come home. He came home, went upstairs. As I'm waiting, asking him, because I knew that his word kind of weighed a little more than hers. You know, I could say, well, Daddy said I could. So he got into bed. I asked him, I said, Daddy, I called him. He answered too quickly. I said, no, it's not the right time to ask him. So I kept on playing around, and I did that several times until he came to me groggily. What? I said, can I come down 11th Street? And I ran around there.
What was on 11th Street?
That's where my aunts and everybody was around there playing, and all the other kids was around there, because I didn't have any brothers and sisters.
Yeah, just 1 block over, right? You on 10th?
1 block over, yeah, I was in the 1 block over. My cousins lived around there. It was like 9 or 10 other kids around there that was basically related to my cousins around there too, you know, on the other side, on their father's side. So I got around there, and in that moment, I threw a rock, and I hit a kid. Now I'm 6. The kid was smaller, so I ducked. And when I ducked, I came up. You ever see these cartoons when you come up, you peeping over something, and that's like I hit my eye. Yeah. And I knew, like my aunt was taking the blame, but I knew it was nobody's fault but mine, because I outsmarted my dad. I knew this, you know, but back then, you know, you didn't assess it. So anyway, I went to the doctors at Principal Hospital on 15th and Mass, I think it was. They treated me and let me go. So I had an uncle came from Massachusetts. We were going down to Blackstone, Virginia, where my parents lived. My mother was from. So we got down there and I started crying. What's wrong with you? I couldn't talk, couldn't tell. Just was in pain. So my uncle said, well, we're gonna have to take him back home. Something wrong. And luckily they did, because a blood clot had formed in my head. And the doctor said it was a matter of a couple of hours before it would have burst. And I would have died.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I went through life basically trying to be just a little better at what I do, so I wouldn't have an excuse for failure. You know, like, you didn't do this right, you didn't see this right. I even thought when I started cutting hair, it would be a challenge, you know. So I had to make sure I was a little better at basketball. I went out there in the dark and just shot so I could get muscle memory and things like that.